All right, hi everybody. Short little update for Raiders fans out there with the news that Josh McDaniels has been fired, let go as Raiders head coach, along with Dave Ziegler, the general manager, and Mick Lombardi, who is the offensive coordinator. So gone. Talk about that in a moment, but replacing them, sort of interesting choice here. Antonio Pierce, linebackers coach for the Raiders, and Champ Kelly is going to replace David Ziegler as the new general manager. He was the assistant general manager. So that's a little bit shocking. Last night, about 10 p.m. Pacific time, the news came down. Now, when I say shocking, I mean, I guess just shocking that it just happened then, but not shocking that it happened. 9-16 they were since they came over from New England and installed the Patriots way, if you will. Well, you got to have Tom Brady, I think, to do that, and maybe Belichick. But it certainly didn't work in Las Vegas. So don't cry for Josh McDaniels. 6 years, $10 million a year contract. He was a year and a half into it, was all. So where the Raiders go from here, what happens? I said at the start of the season, I want to say this. I said at the start of the season that one thing to watch is how they get the ball, or if they don't get the ball, to Davante Adams. And if they don't, it's going to be a long season. I didn't think Jimmy Garoppolo could do that. He has not been able to do that. Davante Adams did not come here to catch 6-yard crossing patterns over the middle and try to run for something. He came here to get the deep ball from Derek Carr, okay? And I've said here before, I don't like, wasn't that opposed to getting rid of Derek Carr, but I certainly did not like the way they did it. But that's old stuff. So, Davante was not happy. You could tell that he had disconnected from this team, and Davante's not happy, the team's not happy. Seriously. I mean, and the defense has been better under Patrick Graham. He's staying, by the way, the defensive coordinator. But still, they got some work to do there on defense for the long run. You get Max Crosby, Robert Spillane. That's it. So maybe Antonio Pierce, as a defensive guy, might be able to help out some areas there. But the offense, that's going to be tough. The Raiders' offense has just been horrendous this year. It's worst in the league in some categories. Points scored, averaging 14.9 points per game. That's it. Round it up to 15 if you wish. If that makes you feel better. That's 31st in the league, I believe. So Garoppolo is going to be benched for the game against the Giants on Sunday. Aiden O'Connell, the rookie out of Purdue, will be quarterback for that game for the Raiders. That's a 1:25 kickoff at Allegiant Stadium Pacific time. And the Giants are horrible. They play the Jets after that. Jets are almost as bad. But the Raiders have 3 wins this year over awful teams. They beat Denver to start the season by 1 point. They've beaten Green Bay and New England. That's their wins. And they look bad at Detroit. I didn't expect them to win or cover the spread. They didn't either against the Lions. So there you have it. What happens from here for the Raiders? Can it only go up? Oh, it can't get worse. Everything can get worse, certainly in the NFL. But will it go up from here? Yeah, I think a change is a change. Sometimes just doing that. I like the sound at the news conference today of the 2 guys now involved in Raiders management. You could argue that Mark Davis, issues there have been for as long as he's been running the team. Okay, I won't disagree with you on that one. But you can't change owners unless they want to, and there's no indication that that's going to happen. So, that being said, Raiders, again, Josh McDaniels and the head coach, Dave Ziegler, general manager, fired, done. They had big contracts, big long contracts. So Mark Davis has to pay them a lot of money for a long time, unless it was a buyout, which I don't think. We haven't heard any details on that. So, the magnolias aren't quite in bloom yet, but and it's for the Raiders. A lot of work to be done. Oh, and the season's not lost. They're 3-5 right now. They could do something. Okay, they still have a shot at doing something good this season, making the playoffs. But only 3 teams in the NFL There's the number 3 again. Only 3 teams in the NFL have not won a playoff game in the last 20 years. That would be the Miami Dolphins, the Detroit Lions, and the Las Vegas Raiders. So Miami and Detroit's looking pretty good right now. Okay, they're probably going to break their string this year. Boy, Miami might be the best team in the NFL. Miami, Kansas City on Sunday in Germany. Oh, okay, sort of interesting. So that's it. Some big NFL news today. I think other big NFL news. Chase Young, Washington. So the Commanders, the Redskins, traded Chase Young for a 3rd-round draft pick to the San Francisco 49ers. That was a little bit of a shock right there. So the Niners, what do you have? Chase Young on the defensive line along with Nick Bosa. 1-2 punch. Wow. They already had a very good defense. But back to the Raiders, their offense has been horrific. That's all there is to it. At least with Derek Carr, their offense was in the middle of the pack. But that was a Derek Carr offense under John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, who was the interim coach for the Raiders. What they do in the offseason, well, it depends. It depends how Antonio Pierce does as interim coach for the Raiders and Champ Kelly as interim GM. I think they're going to have a legitimate shot at doing something. I think they're going to win their next 2 games. Okay, so they got the Giants and the Jets, 2 teams not very good. They got a real shot at winning those 2 games. Then they play at Miami. Okay, forget that. But but they do have a shot at starting out strong with Antonio Pierce, and we'll see how the players rally around him. I think they're going to rally around him, and Devontae will be connected. He was disconnected. He went from, you could tell it in his look. He went from angry during late in this season that's happened so far. So let's say 3 games ago, angry to disconnected to the point that he just didn't even want to be there. Then last game against Detroit, hammered his helmet on the ground. And of course, Devontae is not the only issue here, certainly to be talked about. But he is the Hall of Famer that's on this team. And what he does, what he says, what he thinks, whether he's happy or not, yes, that's a factor. The Raiders have too many skilled players. Josh Jacobs, leading rusher last year. Devontae Adams, Hall of Famer, as wide receiver, still in his prime. On defense, Max Crosby is all-pro. Kicking game, 2 all-pros there. Daniel Carlson and Cole, A.J. Cole. So, and Robert Spillane's done well at linebacker this year, and the defense has improved. But the offense has gotten worse under Josh McDaniels, who was brought here because he was a great offensive coordinator. So sorry there's not more flash on this. It's just me in the backyard saying what I think on what's going on with the Raiders. Again, Sunday against the Giants at Allegiant Stadium, 1:25 start. We'll see how Antonio Pierce can do. Linebackers coach, now interim head coach for the Raiders. Thanks for watching. That's the way I see it. I'm Ron Futrell.